Good day, everyone. I am Junnel Timo, first year Biz Ed Social Studies major, and so I was assigned for this topic, the reinforcement theory by Borges Frederick Skinner. So, a known behavioral psychologist in humanity. So before I start my reporting, I will just give the overview of the topic. So first, I will be defining the theory, defining the reinforcement theory. And then for the second part, I will be talking about the person behind the theory or the theorist. I will just give a little information about him and why does he oppose this theory. And then for the third part, I will be tackling the methods of the reinforcement theory based on what I have understand in my research studies, and then I will be giving also some examples so that it will make it easy to understand, especially to this generation. So what is reinforcement theory? So reinforcement theory is a psychological principle suggesting that behaviors are shaped by their consequences, and that individual behaviors can be changed through reinforcement, punishment, or extinction. Reinforcement theory of motivation overlooks the internal state of individual, except the inner feelings or drives of individuals are ignored by Skinner. This theory focuses totally on what happens to one individual when he takes some action. So see. So in we say it in vernacular, mga ang tanang binuhatan nato makapabag-o nato. Thus, according to Skinner, the external environment of the organization must be designed effectively and positively. So that is the experiment done by Skinner, known as the Skinner's box experiment or Skinner rat box experiment. So in the experiment you see, Skinner placed a hungry rat in his box that contained a lever on one side that when hit released a food pellet. As the rat moved around the box, it would accidentally hit the lever as a food pellet will be released into the box. Just after that first time, the rat starts to hit the lever more and more, and the rat receives more and more food. So about the theories. Who is Borges Frederick Skinner? So in this part, I will just give a little information about him and why does he oppose this kind of theory. So Skinner is a behavioral psychologist. So Skinner was instrumental in developing modern ideas about reinforcement theory. According to him, a person's internal needs and drives are not important areas of concern because their current behaviors follow the law of effect and are based on the consequences of former behaviors. This means that behaviors can be altered or manipulated over time. So next, we will discuss the methods of reinforcement theory. The first one is the positive reinforcement. This implies giving a positive response when an individual shows positive and required behavior. For example, immediately praising a student for having high grades. This will increase probability of outstanding behavior occurring again. So as you look at the picture, it shows how positive reinforcement works. After a teacher giving praise to his or her student for having high grades, so the student will more feel courageous to do it better, so that the teacher will praise him more or her. So it just like some sort of inspiration. So just like in our generation today, students are more likely inspired doing homeworks or classworks better if they have their inspiration. For example, I myself, my inspiration is my mother, because he gives me a nice comment about my performance in school. So I promise myself to do it better than what I have done, so that my mother will praise me more. So it's just like a inspiration for us. So the inspiration make us more determined to do work better than before. So another example for it is your boss will promote you to another level. So you will promote to the next position or higher position. So after you are promoted by your boss, you will be determined or encouraged to do your work better and show your best out of your best, so that the boss will promote you to the higher positions. So we see that how our behavior, the required behavior, the positive behavior, changes us after doing it. So we see it not just the way we are promoted or the way our teacher praise us, but we see it how our mind or behavior acts after doing it. So the next method is negative reinforcement. This implies rewarding an individual by removing negative or undesirable consequences. Both positive and negative reinforcement can be used for increasing desirable or required behavior. For example, removing homework in response to a great work ethic. If a child works very hard one day in school and goes above and beyond, an appropriate response to that would be to give the child a night off from homework. So why those example is classified as negative reinforcement? So it is because um, in the given example, the teacher will remove homework if a student will show a sterling performance in school for one day. So, and other side, the teachers knows that if he or she will give an homework, the student will not work for it. They will just copy from their classmate tomorrow or a day after it was given. So the teacher comes an idea to not just uh, not just give them a homework for one condition. They will not be given an homework if they will be giving their teacher a sterling performance in school. So that's why it was classified as a negative reinforcement to remove the undesirable consequences by giving a positive response of the action. So the next method of reinforcement theory is the punishment. It implies removing positive consequences so as to lower the probability of repeating undesirable behavior in future. For example, suspending a student for breaking the school rules and regulations. In the example given, the school principal or a teacher suspending a student for breaking the school rules and regulation. But what is the purpose of suspending a student? So I think the principal or the teacher suspending his or her student so that the student will realize his mistakes. So after realizing it, they will not repeat their undesirable behavior in school once again. So this is the purpose of punishment. They will gonna let student to realize their mistake and learn a lesson from it, so that for the future they will not repeat it. They will not repeat their undesirable behavior. And the last method of reinforcement theory is the extinction. So it implies the absence of reinforcement, lowering the probability of undesired behavior by removing reward for that kind of behavior. For example, if one student no longer receives praise and admiration for no good work, he may feel that his behavior is generating no fruitful consequence. So, in the example given, we're just flipping the situation given in the positive reinforcement. So, in the positive reinforcement, we see that um, the teacher praised his or her student after showing a sterling performance in school. Well, in the extinction, after showing not a good work, um, the teacher did not did not praise him or no longer receive praise from her or his teacher. So he may feel so discouraged. So another example for it is ano, um, a teacher walking out from the class because the class is so noisy. So the teacher get disappointed of how the class shows performance while the teacher is teaching. So that is also example of extinction. So it affects the action affects the future action. So just like the other methods of the reinforcement theory, that the action will affect the future action. The former action will affect the future action. Anyone have a questions? So that would be all. So that was my topic, the reinforcement theory by Borges Frederick Skinner. And thank you so much for listening to my report. And I hope that you'll get a lesson of learning from my topic. And I hope also that those learnings you'll get will be applied to your individual lives, since my topic is very relevant to our life, especially in our studies. So those learnings will be applied to our studies. Um, we study our behavior, how we act, or how those actions will affect our future actions, especially in school, because um, not in all time our actions uh, will stay the same, because our action may be manipulated because of our former actions. And I hope that we'll do our best in school and in our studies so that we will be maintaining our good performance in school, not just in academics, but also our spiritual performance, um, especially in our behaviors. Uh, we, will not, we must not show our negative performance, but rather show our positive performance in school so that there will be no problem, there will be no conflict on our studies, and there will be no hardships that we will be facing in our study. Just enjoy and relax in our studies because that is very important an aspect in succeeding the studies. So once again, thank you so much for listening to my topic.